So apparently I've been saying quite a famous saying wrong all these years, and I've just found out what the actual saying is. And that got me thinking, are there any more phrases that I've been saying that I've got totally the wrong end of? Let's find out. Yeah, so welcome back to Dadskillz, and as I say, I found out I've been saying a phrase wrong for almost the entirety of my life. I've been using it in a sort of self-deprecating way, and it's got a slightly derogatory tone to it if used like this, and that phrase is jack of all trades, master of none. I thought that meant that not being a master of something was a bad thing. But the actual phrase is, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes is better than a master of one. And what that is saying is, to be able to do a bit of everything to a good enough standard is better than being an expert in one field so niched in that you're basically useless at everything else. And when I think of things I've been called to do, Matt, can you just help out with this? Or can you do that? Or Matt can do that. And I think about the people who are absolute experts in their field, but literally have no common sense and no sort of iota of an idea of how to do something. Kind of rings true. And I'm more than happy being a jack of all trades.
Can we skip to the good part? No.
So what other expressions are there? Well, I found a website called Odyssey, the Odyssey Online. And it's got a few here that it's written down. So it says, great minds think alike. This is the next one. Great minds think alike. Small minds rarely differ. What does that mean? Small minds rarely differ. So that means you can't sort of think outside of what you know? I don't really know. Tell me in the comments.
Still don't know my name.
Next one. Money is the root of all evil. I think I've read this in Rich Dad Poor Dad. What was his name? Robert Kiyosaki. I'm sure I've read this phrase. So I think I do actually know this one. So the old saying is, money is the root of all evil. Okay? But there's a slight twist, isn't there? It is the love of money is the root of all evil. And apparently it's a biblical phrase. No, I didn't know that. So there's a difference in making more money than you could possibly spend and keep. I don't know about that. Don't rich people, when they make money, they tend to spend half their life making their money and then the rest of their life giving it away in a sort of philanthropic way. So I'm not sure about the difference in making more money than you could possibly spend and keep. But I do understand the love of money, materialism and that sort of thing. Well, I think we all know someone who places a greater store in materialism and money and stuff than they do in relationships with other people. So that's fair enough. Starve a cold, feed a fever. I've heard that before. The original saying is, if you starve a cold, you'll have to feed a fever. If you starve a cold, because you don't really feel like eating, do you? You'll have to feed a fever. So if you starve your cold and don't eat through your cold, you'll have to feed your fever, so your cold will get worse. Is that right? Curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction bought it back. This makes sense considering the whole idea that a cat gets 9 lives. So that basically means that, it says here, I often heard the first half when I was little and asking too many questions, but the full phrase suggests that there is no such thing as too many questions. Can you be too curious? No. Blood is thicker than water. Interesting. The full saying is actually, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Okay, what's a covenant? Basically, it means the exact opposite of what most people think. It refers to the idea that the bonds you choose, or the covenants, mean much more to you than the ones you were born into and don't have much say about. And I suppose that goes to another phrase, which is, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. Next phrase, the early bird gets the worm. What's the full phrase? Early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. Ah, nice, I like it. Because the first one got caught in the trap. That means it's not often about who did it first, but it's about who did it right. And learning from the first person, so you don't have to learn from your own mistakes.
Still don't know my name.
Rome wasn't built in a day. Now, I've heard that plenty of times. But the full phrase is, Rome wasn't built in a day, but it was burned in one. That's pretty simple, that one, isn't it? All that effort and resources and people that it took to evolve that city and build that city, all that effort can be obliterated in an instant if you're not careful. And that's a little bit like a YouTube channel. You make one mistake, and there's plenty of people who've done that on YouTube and they've destroyed their channel. The other one is, I don't know, you're probably too young to remember, but there was a jewellery shop in Britain called Ratner's. And one day, Gerald Ratner, who was the owner of all these stores, said at, I think it was like a news conference or something, somewhere, he announced that everything he was selling was crap. And that was it. Business died overnight. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and all that sort of stuff. What about an eye for an eye only makes the world go blind? I can cope with that. You can't keep going on in a cycle of revenge, can you? Someone's going to have to stop or forgive at some point. Ah! Birds of a feather flock together until the cat comes. The second part of the quote exposes the fakeness of the reality we live in today. Well, I can attest to that. Jesus, just look at Instagram. Christ. And then it's got an interesting thought there. It says all the seagulls that flock together, the birds will often fight each other for a piece of bread, since personal gain oftentimes trumps the group values. Well, that was interesting to come across a few of those. Things that I've been misquoting for years and didn't know it. And then when you suddenly know the full meaning, it kind of clicks and you kind of think, yeah, okay, fair enough. So that's it from Dadskillz today. YouTube, in its wisdom, will recommend a video for you in a moment that I'm sure you'll enjoy. But until the next time, goodbye.